What's up, everybody? My name is Dana Harris with Young Gurus Math Tutoring, and I'm back again to drop some more math jewels. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to find the inverse of a function. All right, we're going to find the inverse of a function. I'm going to walk you through that process, and by the time you finish this, you'll know how to do it. Let's get into the first example. Example 1, I am given the function f of x equals 2x plus 8. Now, f of x is function notation, but basically I can still write this as y equals 2x plus 8 because functions deal with input and output. So if I give you a value of x to plug into this function and I do the calculations with x, my solution from the calculations is going to give me y. So I give you a value of x and it gives me an output. Now, in order to find the inverse of a function, I don't need to know what x or y is, but I need to switch x and y. So I'm going to change y to x, and I want to do it in a different color. I'm going to change y to x, all right, and then I'm going to change x to y. So 2y plus 8, all right. Now, when I do this, I'm going to solve for y. So I need to get y by itself. So the first thing I want to do is I want to subtract 8 because I want to take that to the other side. So minus 8. Notice I separated them because they're not like terms. So I'm going to put the x first. So x minus 8 equals 2y. And then I need y by itself. So I divide by 2 there, divide by 2 there, and divide by 2 there. Well, x over 2 is the same thing as 1/2 x. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And these, I'm sorry, I erased the wrong thing. I should have crossed through. So this is 2y over 2. Sorry about that. We're going to keep going. 2 divided by 2, that equals 1. So 1/2 x minus 4 equals y. So the inverse of f of x equals 2x plus 8 is f of x equals 1/2 x minus 4. Or we could say y equals 1/2 x minus 4. All right, so these two are the inverse of those two. So the process was we changed the function notation to just y, and then we interchange x and y, and then solve for y. All right. Example 2, I have f of x equals negative 2x minus 3. All right, so this is the same thing as y equals negative 2x minus 3. And then I want to interchange the x and y. So I'm going to say x equals negative 2y minus 3. All right, and I'm going to solve for y. The opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. So plus 3. Remember, I usually don't line these up because they're not like terms, but I'm going to do it a little different this time. All right, so x plus 3 equals negative 2y. And then I need to divide by negative 2 for each term. I get negative 1/2 x minus 3 over 2 equals y. So the inverse of this function right here is f of x equals negative 1/2 x minus 3 over 2. All right. Now, somebody may be thinking, okay, well, how do I know that they're inverses? I'm glad you asked. So, if these are inverses here, these two, what happens is if I substitute this function right here for x, and I actually do the calculations, it should give me something specific. I'll end up back with x. And so let me show you how that works. So if I take and say this original function, f of x equals negative 2x minus 3, I want to substitute this whole function for x. So I want to find f of negative 1 half x minus 3 over 2. So that's all right, and then minus 3. All right, so all I did was I substituted the inverse for x in the original function. And then I'm going to calculate. All right, this right here is just telling you that that's my value of x. So negative 2, I'm going to distribute, times negative 1 half x is going to actually be x. And then negative 2 times negative 3 halves x is going to be, negative times a negative is a positive 3. So this times all this is x plus 3, and then I need to bring down my minus 3. All right, so notice I'm just going to say f of x this time. Negative 3, I'm sorry, 3 minus 3 is just 0. So f of x equals x. I could put all of this back in here. The point that I'm trying to make is, in order to check to see if you have correctly calculated the two functions to figure out if they are inverses, is when I find f inverse of x. So this is actually f inverse. I'm sorry. On the previous example also, please make that note. The inverse looks like this, f inverse of x. So on that first answer, I need to have f inverse of x, and it looks like that. So f of f inverse of x, and you'll see it like this. I feel like I'm kind of all over the place right now, but I want to make sure you get all this. So f of f inverse of x equals x. And what that's saying is, if I substitute the inverse of x into the original function, when I calculate it out, I should get just x. If you don't get just x, they're not inverses. Something is wrong. And not every function has an inverse. All right? Young Gurus Math Tutoring. Remember, do me a great big favor. Go follow me on Instagram at YG Math Tutoring. Also, go to the Facebook page and like the Facebook page, Young Gurus Math Tutoring. I appreciate everyone who's following and watching the videos and sharing them, sharing the content on Instagram and Facebook as well. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for helping me accomplish my vision of helping students all around the world do better in mathematics. My goal actually is to have the most frequently used website of math videos in the world. I'm going to do it because you're going to help me do it, because you're going to go subscribe right now to this channel and you're going to tell a friend about it, right? Thank you so much. Dana Harris, Young Gurus Math Tutoring. I've got the solution to your math problems.